Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be talking about MDCI Invasion Barbare, so stay tuned for that. And if you like the content, guys, smash that like and subscribe button. It really helps me grow my channel, and I do appreciate it a lot. And before I get into the content, guys, what is your scent of the day? Today I'm wearing Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Invasion Barbare is often talked about as one of, or the best, barbershop fragrances that you can buy. So of course, I do really enjoy barbershop fragrances, so this was one I had to check out for sure. This features top notes of grapefruit, bergamot, violet leaf. The middle notes are ginger, cardamom, thyme, and lavender. The base is musk, vanilla, and patchouli. Now I will say that right on the first sniff of this one, it does really smell like a very high quality fragrance. So you can tell that there are quality ingredients used in this. It does smell very smooth and very well blended. So I will say on that point, MDCI certainly did a fantastic job with the quality of this fragrance. It opens up, of course, with a ton of lavender, and I get a little bit of the citrus on top of that, with a little bit of sweetness as well. The sweetness is really, really subdued. I get just a bit of it, but it makes the bergamot come off more like a sweet, citrusy fruit instead of something more bitter or tart. I do also get a little bit of the violet leaf and the ginger. It's not overpowering, but it does add kind of a nice dimension there in the opening. Gives it a little bit more depth than, say, just a lavender balm. And this is very lavender forward, as a lot of barbershop fragrances are. Overall, in the opening, to me, this one does smell quite clean and masculine, and it does have a certain freshness that the lavender, I'm pretty sure, provides. I don't get a lot of the cardamom in the opening, but I do get more of that warm, spicy cardamom vibe in the mid. So it does start to emerge to my nose and on my skin after about an hour. I get definitely a little bit more of that spiciness. And for me, one of the things I do enjoy about barbershop fragrances is the spicy aspect. This one is a very subtle, smooth spicy. It's not overwhelming or overpowering. It's not by any means in your face. It's more of a slightly warm and inviting spicy fragrance that has that lavender barbershop feel to it. Now, that doesn't last a terribly long time to me, so I don't get tons of spice. It does have a little bit, but as this one dries down, I get a little bit more of this kind of, it's almost a woody vibe. I want to say a little bit nutty. And throughout the entire life of this fragrance, one thing that I do definitely get is a bit of a minty vibe. So it almost has like a mint gum accord that is there, and it's pretty enjoyable. And it reminds me actually of fragrances kind of like Darlie, if you're familiar with that one, or I think the Chronic also has that kind of minty gum kind of vibe. It's very similar to the vibe in this fragrance. Other than that, fairly one-dimensional. There is a little bit of interplay with the degree of spiciness. I don't get a ton of sweetness, although it is subtly there throughout the life of this fragrance. That nutty, kind of woody aspect does start to come out more in the dry down. I don't really get it prior to that, and it does not quite have the same clean vibe as it does in the opening during the dry down. But it is a very nice and enjoyable fragrance. I will also say, with respect to performance, this is very long lasting, but it's also a very quiet fragrance. Even right on the opening, this one does not project a lot. So this one has almost poor performance in that respect. It's quiet, it doesn't have a lot of sillage, so if that's what you're looking for, this is definitely a fragrance you're not going to want to try out. But it does have a more quiet aspect to it, and I think with the fact that this is a fragrance that does smell like quality, and it has that sort of classy masculine vibe, the fact that it's a little bit quieter does play to that accord. Now, I do kind of think it's a little too quiet given the price point and given what this type of fragrance is, but nonetheless, that's kind of how this one projects. Now, as I did mention in the beginning of this video, a lot of people talk about this one as the greatest barbershop fragrance of all time. And I think in that respect, trying this one out, wearing it a few times, I was definitely disappointed. It is a nice fragrance, it is a good barbershop fragrance, but this doesn't blow me away in any way. There are definitely barbershop fragrances that I prefer to this one, but overall, it is a good fragrance. I think one of the main issues is kind of what you get and what you pay for. It's extraordinarily expensive for this style of fragrance, and there are, in my opinion, better alternatives. I mean, I might even place something like At the Barber's ahead of this one, and it's significantly cheaper. Now, that isn't to say it's not a good fragrance. I definitely do enjoy it, and if you like barbershop scents, try this one out. I don't think you'll be totally disappointed, but I think if you're going into it expecting to be blown away, you will probably be disappointed with this fragrance. Anyways, guys, that's it for this one. If you haven't got your nose on this one, do check it out, MDCI Invasion Barbare. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.